The prayer is to meditate on the light of the Supreme, but today's Savitri's prayer is to meditate on the strength of the Supreme. Not on the light of the Supreme, but on the strength of the Supreme. Because she is now going to confront death in her last round, final round. And what matters, what counts, is not the light, but a strength. In fact, that is exactly what death wanted Savitri to reveal to him. Have you the power? Show me the power. I respect only the power. I respect only the strength. If you have that power, then perhaps you could have your Satyavan back to you. Not light, but power. Oh, human claimant to immortality. She is the human claimant to immortality. Reveal thy power. Lay bare the spirit's force, then will I give back to thee, Satyavan. So that is a conditional statement. If she can show him the power, then possibly she can have her Satyavan back to her. She wants to have Satyavan back for what? Because she is a claimant to immortality. She is a human claimant to immortality. That the mortal can have the power and the possibilities of immortality. That is what she is here to assert and to establish. That can happen only if she can show him the power she should be in possession of. Or, if the mighty mother is within thee, show me her face. You are a human claimant to immortality, but because you are human, it is likely that you may not have that power. But it could be that the mighty mother is with you. So, he has given two alternatives to Savitri to reveal to him her power or show him the face of the mighty mother. Let deathless eyes look into the eyes of death, an imperishable force touching brute thing, transform us death into immortal life. Well, transform us death into immortal life is in fact reassertion of Savitri being the claimant of immortality. She is the claimant of immortality. It is a reassertion by him. He is putting both ways, from both the sides. Transform us death into immortal life. Now, is this an alternative offered to Savitri? That she could reveal to him the power which is there with her, or show the face of the Divine Mother in her. is that an alternative offered to Savitri? What is Savitri going to do? Is Savitri in possession of the power which can conquer death? Or is it a mighty mother who is going to conquer through her death? So the alternative is there. Now, this is kind of a trick. A kind of a mischievous dichotomy which is introduced by death into the occult process. Either Savitri doesn't have the power to conquer death, or Savitri has to have the mighty mother in her to conquer death. So why it is a mischievous dichotomy? Because actually, in the case of Savitri, there is no difference between the two. Between thy power and the mighty mother. Reveal thy power and the mighty mother in her. If she has a power, it is actually the power of the mighty mother. It has to be the power of the mighty mother, you see, not human power at all, you see. So that is why we could say that it is a mischievous dichotomy, a cleavage which is introduced by the occult force of the death, that you are human, she is divine. Show me her face that I am a worshipper. Now this is something important, that or is the play of death. What is the real truth? The real truth is given to us later. In fact, it's here. Okay, we'll see that thing. A halo of the indwelling deity. Indwelling deity. It's already there in Savitri. Indwelling deity. So that or has to be really dismissed. Now, whatever be the power, whether it is the power of human claimant, Savitri, the human claimant of immortality, or whether it is the power of the mighty mother, what is it going to achieve? That death makes very clear. It will transform us death into immortal life. That indwelling power, which could be the Divine Mother or the Mighty Mother, or it could be the power within Savitri. It is that which is going to transform us death into immortal life. That is an assertion made by death. You see. It is not he, it is she who will do it. An imperishable force. It is she who will transform us death into immortal life. So he already foresees that actually the work of transformation is entirely in the hands of that imperishable force. None else can do it. It is she, imperishable. The work of transformation is entirely in the hands of imperishable force. And how that is going to happen? I mean, he's listing a kind of a sequence. Then can thy death return to thee and live. See. Then can thy debt return. It means that he is then conceding the possibility of transform earth's death into immortal life. Satyavan's coming back, return to thee and live, means transformation of earth's death into immortal life. This return is connected with this thing. That is why we have in the tale of Savitri, what we have got at the back of this one, the story of Savitri. Satyavan is in the grip of death. When that grip of death is removed, then the work of transformation begins. The prostrate earth perhaps shall lift her gaze and feel near her the secret body of God. This is something tremendous he is telling. Secret body of God. He is envisaging the possibility of immortal life in the physical. Immortal life in the physical, not elsewhere. So he has really made a very deep statement on the process of transformation. First remove death, then the body of secret body of God can come into operation and feel near her the secret body of God. That her, of course, stands for earth. This her also. And feel near her. Her means earth. Earth will feel the secret body of God. And love and joy overtake fleeing time. So he has defined here what he means by transform earth's death. Transform earth's death into what? Into immortal life. Into immortal life of what kind? Of love and joy. Is it not so? So he is very careful, he has worded everything, you see. And love and joy overtake fleeing time. Does it mean that when there is love and joy, when there is love and joy, there is no time? When there is love and joy, does it mean that there is no time? No? No, I don't think I would like that. No. What will not be there is fleeing time. That does not mean that time will not be there. The process of movement, of going forward, of more and more possibilities coming into play, that is time. Those possibilities have to come into play. And that happens in the course of time. In the course of time. So what will go away? The fleeing time. It does not mean that time will go away. And love. So this fellow is very careful in his wording. Very. Then can thy death return to thee and live. Now he says, of course, here, return to thee. Why should he return to her? See, after all, yeah, yeah. Then what is his use for us? Yeah, because she said that I want him to do his work. She told him, I want him not for myself, but to do the earth's work. To do the earth's work, I want him for that, not for myself, not for my personal ambition and all that. Because she had asserted why she wants him. Therefore, he said, okay, he will return to thee, to you. And Savitri looked on death and answered not. It was not anymore necessary to answer. He had said sufficiently clearly, without any ambiguity, show me your power, reveal me your power. I show that the mighty mother is with you. There is a question of answer now. Savitri did not answer at all. She has to now reveal what she is. What she is. And therefore we come to the last triumphant section of this long dialogue. See, yeah, 147, yeah. And Savitri looked on death and answered not. Metrically, this is a very beautiful line. I like this line, construction. Is it not so? And Savitri looked on death and answered not, you see. Metrically, and saw that I am, short, long. Then Vitri looked, short, long, Anapest. Then on death, again an am. And then again an am. And answer not. Am. So, basically, very beautiful line, you see. And Savitri looked on death and answered not. Almost it seemed as if in a simple shade the worlds of darkness had consented to heaven light, and God needed no more the inconscious screen. The poet is saying almost. Almost it seemed. Almost. Why is he saying almost? Yeah, it was needed. Stay a while. I want you still to do your work. Until now, life only was my attempt to love. Only when I realized that death is also an attempt to love, then I realized the fullness of the whole process. Then I realized the fullness of the whole process. Almost it seemed, almost. The poet is saying almost. Because he has to still write book 11. He has to still write book 11. You see. The story is not going to end here. The book of the everlasting day, he has to still write. Therefore, almost. Almost it seemed as if in his simple stream, the world's darkness had consented to heaven light, and God needed no more the inconscience screen. World's darkness. That is the creation darkness. That is what we have got, the darkness of this earth life. Earth life. Mrityuloka, mortal world. World's darkness for a certain purpose. It could also mean that there are other types of darknesses. World's darkness is only one type of darkness. Possibly there are other types of darknesses also. In other words, other possibilities are still lingering there for expression in another manner through the whole process. World's darkness had consented to heaven light, and God needed the more the inconscient screen. Of course, God here does not stand for the theological God, the religious God, but the Supreme Himself, the Creator Himself. A mighty transformation came on her. A mighty transformation came on her that dissolves the orb. Show me your power, or show me the Divine Mother. A mighty transformation came on her that dissolves that orb which he had posited in his statement. This orb. Now, this transformation is a functional transformation, not what we have the physical transformation, the new manifestation, that kind of a thing. This transformation is a change in that sense, a functional change, functional transformation. It is not that Savitri has suddenly become divine Savitri in the physical. A halo of the indwelling deity, the immortal luster that had lit her face and tinted its radiance in her body's house, overflowing, made the air a luminous sea. So everywhere is the luminous sea now around her because of the halo, because of the power of this indwelling deity. Everything is now bright. Because the darkness had consented to change. So luminous sea everywhere, and tinted its radiance in her body's house. In her body's house, this is important. In her physical, overflowing made the air a luminous sea. In a flaming moment of apocalypse, the incarnation thrust aside its veil. She had put on the veil of inconscience, of darkness. That is now gone. So, this incarnation, she is the divine goddess herself, the force, the power of the absolute unknowable. Absolute unknowable. In a flaming moment of apocalypse, the incarnation thrusts aside its veil, its incarnation. She had put on that veil, that is gone now. That veil was necessary for a function. Why it was necessary? Because had she been there without that veil, Sri Vinaya simply got crushed under her power, under her light, under illumination, got dissolved, got disappeared, you see. So veil was a functional necessity to protect this creation. The incarnation thrust aside its veil, a little figure in infinity, yet stood and seemed the Eternal's very house, as if the world's center was her very soul, and all wide space was but its outer robe. So the whole thing was only her outer robe, that's all. That is revealed, gone now completely. So she is standing now bare in a full power and luminosity, in a strength. A curve of the calm hauteur of far heaven, descending into earth's humility, calm hauteur. This is one of the rarest uses of a French word by Sri Aurobindo in Savitri, hauteur, height. There are two or three other places where Sri Aurobindo has used the French word as it is in Savitri. Fin to appui is one. This is the other one. See. There are two other things like that, you see. The curve, the calm hauteur of far heaven. And you see, by taking that kind of liberty, see how the poetry moves. The charm of the poetry is there of heaven, descending into earth's humility, height, calm height into earth's humility. That is what she has done. She has assumed the earthly shape, the earthly form. That is her greatness, that is her humility, to submit to the conditions here. Her forehead span watered the omniscience gaze. Her eyes were two stars that watched the universe. Her eyes were two stars. Her eyes, because she is human, so there are two physical eyes, obviously. Her eyes were two stars. But why two stars? You see, a change has taken place, transformation has cannot taken place. Why restrict only to two eyes? Every bit is something like an eye, see here. Two stars, two eyes, one which can see above, one which can see down below. Everything. If it is an omniscience gaze, actually it doesn't need eye. But but here for a physical purpose, the whole thing is spanned from above down below, everything in one gaze. The power that from her being summit reigned, the presence chambered in lotus secrecy, came down and held the center in her brow. Now, this is the rush of the Mahakundalini, the divine force, into Savitri now, who is in the battleground standing in front of death. The divine moment has arrived, and the divine Shakti is rushing now into her instrument, that is Savitri. The power that from her being summit reigned, the divine Savitri, who is there in the oversoul, in the transcendent, that is Savitri's summit being. The presence chambered in lotus secrecy, it is hidden up there in the lotus secrecy. It is that which came down and held the center in her brow. Here. It is the rush of the Mahakundalini into now various centers of Savitri. The power that came, that from her being summit reigned, the present chambered in lotus secrecy, came down and held the center in her brow. where the mind's Lord in his control room sits. There, throned on concentration's native seat, he opened the third mysterious eye in man, Ajna Chakra. It is here which opens out. Mysterious eye in man, the unseen's eye that looks at the unseen, the unseen's eye that looks at the unseen. When light, the golden ecstasy fills his brain, and eternal wisdom drives his choice, and eternal will seizes the mortal will. Will. See, this is the chakra of knowledge and will. Knowledge and will. Sankalpa. I want to achieve something, get done something. That is the will. Knowledge and will. And eternal will seizes the mortal's will. That is the characteristic of the brow center with two petals. So, actually, although we have two stars, two eyes, here now has really opened the third eye. Where the divine will and divine knowledge can come into operation. We stirred in the lotus of a throat of song. The power of expression comes from here. Song. And in a speech throbbed the immortal word. The word that becomes effective Brahma. Word in the Vedic phraseology is Brahma. Word means Brahma. Her life sounded with the steps of the world soul, moving in harmony with the cosmic thought. So she is coming from the transcendent now, she is in control of the cosmic field. As glides God's Son into the mystic cave, where hides his light from the pursuing gods, it glided into the lotus of her heart. From here, now here it is coming into the heart. That force, that Kundalini, is now waking up, is occupying various centers of activity in the subtle body of Savitri. And glides God's Son, and as glides God's Son, he assumes that the poet assumes that we know how the Son of God can glide. He is giving a simile as glides God's Son, means you are supposed to know. But we are stupid people, you see. We don't know how God's Son glides. Into the mystic cave where high. So it means that he is really gliding slowly coming down into the heart center now, where hides his light from the pursuing gods. Hide. See, it has entered into the heart. In the occult terminology, in the Kundalini descriptions, in the Upanishadic passages, we call this center the Hridaya Guha, the heart cave. Hridaya Guha, heart cave, hidden. Behind it, everything is there. So it is in the Hridaya Guha, the sun is now gliding. The sun is entering into the cave. Where hide the light from the pursuing God. Therefore, pursuing gods cannot follow him, you see. It glided into the lotus of her heart and woke in it the force that alters fate. So, if fate has to change, then that force must enter into the heart center. So it is coming down and settling in the heart center. and woke in the force that alters spirit. It poured into a navel's lotus depth, down below now, further sinking into the navel's lost in the little lives, lost in the little life nature's narrow home. On the body's longing grew heaven rapture's power, and made desire a pure celestial flame, broke into the cave where coiled world energy sleep. Down below sleeps the world energy. Kundalini, yeah.
When the Shakti is descending, you call it also Kundalini?
Well, I mean, the Shivananda doesn't call it Kundalini, therefore we call it Mahakundalini. The divine Kundalini. Actually, the Kundalini, the traditional Kundalini rises from below, up, you see. But in Shivananda Yoga, actually Kundalini is awakening from above. It first descends here, then comes here, comes here, comes here, comes here, like that. And then each center is kind of made active. In Shivananda's Kundalini Yoga, it's like that. It is not from below, it is from above. Yeah.
But Savitri is not in her physical body. She is in her subtle body. So how can the chakras be active in her subtle body?
Yeah, all these things are present in the subtle body.
They only, so after you shed your physical body, after that, you still have all your chakras.
Chakra, yeah, they are chakras.
So like when we die?
No. It is in Savitri now, not in Satyavan.
No. What I meant is, yeah, exactly. In the subtle body.
Of Savitri.
So,
The subtle physical of Savitri.
Satyavan wouldn't have the chakras.
Satyavan is dead.
Okay, but so after your physical death, the chakras.
No, this had nothing to do with Savitri. The matter transformation has come on Savitri.
Yes.
And the transformation is by the descent of the divine force into various centers of the Savitri who is standing in front of death.
Yes, I understand. But I just wanted in general to know that in the subtle body, when you shed your body, when you died, you don't have to.
No. If you have died, then there is no question of any force entering at all. No. So this is not for the dead body at all. This is for a body who is living, and in the subtle physical, this is what is happening.
Because she is living, her body is there, she is connected to the physical body. That's why it can happen.
No, this has nothing to do with Satyavan.
No, not the Satyavan, but the Savitri's body is under the tree.
Is under the
tree in the forest.
Yeah, physical body.
Physical body is
Yeah.
connected.
But Savitri is going through in her subtle body to various regions.
Yes.
It is that which is now receiving all the centers.
Yeah. And it's connected to the physical.
So the connection is not lost.
Yeah, that's what.
Connection with the physical body is not lost at all. The moment the connection is cut off, Savitri is dead.
Yeah, and then no more chakra.
No.
Yeah. Right. Okay, now I'm clear.
It poured into a navel's lotus depth, lost in the little nature's narrow home. On the body's longing grew heaven's rapture flower, and made desire a pure. This is the center of desire, of will, the vital power to do things. That desire is desirable at the vital level. It is by that desire it can do things. That desire broke into the cave where coiled world energy sleeps, that is down below, Muladhara, and smote the thousand-hooded serpent force. It is there that the serpent is sleeping actually. That blazing, towered and clasped the world self above, joined matter's dumbness to the spirit's hush, and filled earth's acts with the spirit's silent power. So it is descending, coming down through various centers, all the 7 centers, into Muladhara. The Kundalini, the sleeping serpent there, it awakes and it rises and they join. Thus changed, She waited for the word to speak. So it is this mighty transformation now which has come upon Savitri. So this transformation, as I was telling you earlier, is not what we normally otherwise call in other language, contexts, is the physical transformation. It is the transformation, it is the receiving of the Kundalini force in the various chakras of Savitri's subtle body for a purpose. It is that transformation which is the mighty transformation here. So we have got therefore all the 7 descents into various chakras. The power is entering. See, he wanted Savitri to show to him, the mighty mother is with her. She is now showing what she is really. And therefore the mighty transformation. Therefore that all is gone. What he had posited on is gone. As glides God's Son. He assumes that we know how the God's Son glides. Well, now, this is what has happened in the case of Savitri on the battlefield. There is the rush of the divine force into Savitri, and Savitri is able to hold the divine force, and it is that divine force now which is going to meet death. Savitri is able to hold that divine force. That is the important condition. We know that it is the divine force alone who can do it, but we had never prepared ourselves to hold that divine force in us to meet an eventuality of this kind. So, Savitri is able to hold the divine force because she has already done her yoga. Book 7, Canto 5. See, Savitri has found her soul. In Book 7, Canto 5, the first section, Savitri has found her soul. And then what happens? The divine Savitri soul, the oversoul, and the human soul, Savitri is human, they join together and merge into each other and become one. So that is the description which we have got here of how they become one. Page 506. In the house where all is made of flame and light, Savitri suddenly meets her secret soul. What we have got here. Here, in the chamber of flame and light, the toiling spirit in immortal shape, the human portion of divinity, and the oversoul, the central being, stationed above, the secret deity, what we have got indwelling deity, the secret deity, indwelling deity, rush into each other with a magic transformation speed and become one. Here it is magic transformation, here we have got a mighty transformation. It is the descent of this original power that awakens the deep cosmic centers of activity in the subtle physical. And this happens through Savitri as the individual. In the cosmic field it happens, now in the case of Savitri individual. Out of the soulless, mindless night, a flaming serpent rises released from sleep. Through Savitri, the dormant cosmic energy is stirred. And it rises from the inconscious upward. Savitri becomes the active center of the worldwide action from matter's base, there is a rush toward the eternal space. In her soul sits the living original power, armed and bearer of the weapon and the sign. This could be the divine transcendental Durga, not only to protect but also to destroy all that opposes the divine work. That brings about a high celestial change in Savitri, who is here to do the divine work. There is a rush of Mahakundalini into Savitri. That rush from above down below is for the cosmic universal action, not for Savitri, but for cosmic universal action. Savitri has housed the divine power in her soul. Well, I mean, there are a lot of things here, and the mother also narrates her Kundalini experiences when she was in France and Japan after 1915 to 1920, for 5 years she was there. She says, this rising of the Kundalini, I had it in. It was still in Paris, you see, when she was there. It was before I came to India. It had, etc. She narrates all those things. So you can read, there are a lot of things here around, you see. But now here, let us see how Savitri is, how the Kundalini is rushing into various centers of Savitri. In his deep lotus home, her being sat, as if on concentration's marble seat, calling the mighty mother of the world. You see, this is the important thing, calling the mighty mother. He wanted to show me the mighty mother, show me. Calling the mighty mother of the world to make this earthly tenement her house. So the mighty mother reference is important in both the places, you see. As in a flash from a supernal light, a living image of original power, a face, a form came down into her heart and made of it its temple and pure abode. But when his feet had touched the quivering bloom, a mighty movement rocked the inner space, as if a world was shaken and found its soul out of the inconscient, soulless, mindless night. A flaming serpent rose, released from sleep. It rose, billowing its coils, and stood erect, and climbing mightily, stormily on its way. It touched the center with its flaming mouth, as if a fiery kiss had broken their sleep. They bloomed and laughed, surcharged with light and bliss. Then, at a crown, it joined the eternal spirit. In the flower of the head, in the flower of matter's base, in each divine stronghold and nature knot, it held together the mystic stream which joined the viewless summits with the unseen depths. The string of folds that made the frail defense safeguarding us against the enormous world. The whole thing is there. Well, I mean, we'll not go into all the details, you can read the whole thing there. So, when Savitri has found her soul, the Savitri's soul and the oversoul, they have rushed into each other. The mighty mother's force has already entered into Savitri's soul. This is what we have got in this particular canto. Now, the question is, if the Kundalini has already descended in Savitri's soul, what is this new Kundalini arriving here? Canto 5 of Book 7, the soul and oversoul has joined together. Now, what is it that is now happening here? Again, that Kundalini is descending. All the centers of Savitri are awakening. As I told you, he wanted him, Savitri should show him that the mighty mother is with her. Now, it is that mighty mother which can descend into Savitri, because she can hold her in her soul now, because she has already established her in her soul. Therefore, it is now she is coming here in a full transcendental form, in her all might, presenting herself to death, to Yama. So this is not a kind of a duplication that what had happened earlier is being repeated here. The subtle point is that Savitri has already established the divine power here, and therefore now the divine power can come and work through her. It is that which is happening here. It poured into Navel's lotus, etc., and joined matter's dumbness to spirit's hush. Thus changed, she waited for a word to speak. So Savitri, a mighty transformation has come now in Savitri. Here I am fully. But Savitri is not going to take the initiative for further action. She is waiting for the divine command, the divine word, the Supreme's word, and then only she will speak out. Thus changed, she waited for the word to speak. Word is personified. Shabda, Brahma, as I said, word in science, in Vedic literature is Brahma. Brahma means word. The power of expression, the power of putting into dynamical action things, that is the word. When you speak, it means it is made positive, effective, done. Thus changed, she waited. What did I write here? The word spoke. It was a voice of the word which was heard. What Savitri is hearing is the voice of the word. See, it's very, very beautiful description in terms of language. Savitri is hearing the voice of the word. It seemed the calm utterance of infinity. Word is the creatrix. She is the creator who gives expression to things. Creatrix. Speech or speech. Speech capital or speech. What is expressed? Speech or speech. By the word, Brahma creates. Brahma is the creator. The force of his creation is the word. Word is Brahma's clasp. 125.35. 125.35. Savitri is approaching her soul, the dwelling place of her soul. From room to room she is going. She is crossing door after door, courtyard after courtyard she is passing. A sealed identity within her woke. She knew herself this beloved of the Supreme. These gods and goddesses were he and she. The mother was she, a beauty and delight. The word in Brahma's vast creating clasp. Word in Brahma's vast creating clasp. The power of Brahma is word, the creator. In the mythology, in the Puranic tradition, Saraswati, Brahma's spouse, Brahma's consort, is Saraswati. Word. She is the creator. She gives form, shape, concreteness, definiteness to things. You see, here described here, word in Brahma's class, world fusions, that is Shiva and Shakti. World fusions in Almighty Shiva's lap, that is Parvati. She is giving the Puranic description, Parvati. World fusion on Almighty Shiva's lap. The master and the mother of all lives, etc., etc. Krishna and Radha. various descriptions of that you see. So word in Brahma's vast class, this is that word now for which Savitri is waiting here. The divine power, the creatrix, it is she who has to command to Savitri what she must do. That change, she waited for the word to speak. So it is the word which is going to speak. Eternity looked into the eyes of death. That was the condition which death had stipulated. It had looked into my eye. And darkness saw God's living reality. That is a tremendous thing. Occult contains a really tremendous. Darkness can see God's living reality behind darkness, in darkness. In other words, what has happened is darkness has acquired divine sight. Darkness has acquired divine sight. Divya Chakshu, the divine sight, divine eye. It is darkness which has acquired the divine sight, and darkness saw God's living reality. So, in other words, we condemn darkness, etc., etc., etc. But actually, there is a reality behind that darkness which you don't see. That is our darkness. We don't have that sight. Darkness now has acquired, you see. And darkness saw God's living reality. In other words, there is some purpose, there is some meaning, there is some content, there is some beauty, there is some joy, there is some meaning behind that darkness which is hidden there, which is now getting revealed. Darkness saw God's living reality. Darkness is personified, you see. Then a voice was heard that seemed the stillness of self. A voice was heard. So this is the voice of whose voice? Of the word. She was waiting for the word to speak. And the word is speaking, and it is the voice of that word which is now being heard. Then a voice was heard that seemed the stillness of self, or the low, calm utterance of infinity when it speaks in the silence, in the heart of sleep, in the heart of sleep. Sushupti, Pradnya, wisdom. And what is that voice telling? That word telling to Savitri? I hail the Almighty. So actually it is not it is not Savitri who is speaking now. It is that word, the voice of that word which is answering to death. I hail thee, Almighty and victorious death. Almighty and victorious. That is a great qualification to death, for death. Because darkness is seeing God's reality. Darkness is seeing God's reality. So she is saying, yes, you are victorious. How you are victorious? How you are almighty? Because you are the grandeur darkness of the infinite. Grandeur darkness of the infinite has to be almighty and of course victorious. You have served your purpose for which you are there. You have seen your own reality now. He is victorious because he now saw God's living reality. He has divine vision. He has Divya Chakshu. How he has that? Because he has won them. By fighting out against Savitri, he has won them. Therefore, he got that divine vision, that divine chakshu, with Divya Chakshu. He has divine vision, Divya Chakshu. He has won it. Because he has won it, therefore he is victorious. Thou grandeur, darkness of the infinite. So, actually, this is something absolutely wonderful. We must really give full credit to the Creator, to the Divine Himself, that He could manage to create a darkness of the infinite, which can now see itself what that darkness is. What darkness is, darkness can see now for itself, for himself, so to say now. What he is, he can see now. And therefore, it is something absolutely marvelous of the Creator to have created such a darkness which can see what it is meant there, what it is meant for, why it is there. Why it is there? O void that makes room for all to be. That is what you are there for. Void is making room for all to be. The Divine had emptied Himself out fully, completely, absented Himself from Himself. That is the void. Why? It is because of that all can be. O void that makes room for all to be, hunger that gnaws at the universe, consuming the cold remnants of the sun and eats the whole world with the jaws of fire, waster of the energy that has made the star in conscience, carrier of the seeds of thought, nations into which all knowledge sleeps entombed, all knowledge sleeps entombed, and slowly emerges in its hollow breast, wearing the mind's mask of bright ignorance. Thou art my shadow and my instrument. My shadow, my instrument. Who is this my? That word. This voice is speaking word. That word. You are my shadow. You are my instrument. You are here as the shadow of the Divine. You are here as the instrument of the Divine for a certain purpose. For a certain purpose. I have given thee the awful shape of dread, and thy sharp sword of terror and grief and pain, to force the soul of man to struggle for light on the brevity of his half-conscious days. I have given thee. So, whatever power he has, what he was wanting, all that thing, is actually because of her word, the creatrix. Thou art his spur, his man's, to greatness in you. You are prompting man to go ahead, make progress. You are his spur. The whip to his yearning for eternal bliss, his poignant need of immortality. Live still, live death a while, be still, my instrument. Yes, you have eyes now to see the reality that is there behind darkness. Therefore, live. Not with blind eyes now. You can see the purpose, the meaning, the intention of the darkness with that chakshu, with that eyesight. You can see. Therefore, you live now with that sight. Live death a while, be still my instrument. I still need you for a certain purpose. One day, man too shall know the fathomless heart of silence, the brooding peace of night, and grave obedience to eternal law, and a calm, inflexible pity in thy gaze. All these things for a purpose, one day man will know perhaps. But now, O timeless mightiness, stand aside and leave the path of my incarnate force. The word is speaking, and Savitri is the incarnate force of that word. Relieve the radiant God from thy black mask. Release the soul of the world called Satyavan. So she is defining who is Satyavan. Satyavan is the soul of the world. It is the soul of the world who is in the grip of death, not human person. Release the soul of the world called Satyavan, freed from thy clutch of pain and ignorance. That is the grip. That he may stand master of life and fate, man's representative in the house of God, the mate of wisdom and the spouse of light, the eternal bridegroom and the eternal bride. She spoke that voice, that word. Death unconvinced resisted still. See, although he knew, refusing still to know, although he saw, refusing still to see. Unshakable, he stood claiming his right. I want my flesh of blood, pound of flesh. His spirit bowed. His will obeyed the law. His spirit bowed. Yes, but his will has not yet bowed. His will is still obeying the law by which he was governing the entire creation. That will is still there, of its own nature, binding even on gods. The two oppose each other face to face. The two, Death and Savitri, oppose each other face to face. He is being like a huge fort of darkness towered. Around it, a life grew, and oceans, the sea, surrounding him like that. A while, the shade survived, defying heaven. Still there, assailing in front, oppressing from above, a concrete mass of conscious power. He bowed the tyranny of her divine desire. He is able to still bear that tyranny of her divine desire. What is the tyranny of her divine desire? She has already spelled out. Relieve the radiant God, relieve the soul, etc., etc. That is the divine desire. The tyranny of her divine desire. A pressure of intolerable force weighed on his unbowed head and stubborn breast. Light, like a burning tongue, licked up his thoughts. Light was a luminous torture in his heart. Light caused a splendid agony through his nerves. His darkness muttered, perishing in her place. See, this is poetry. Light like a burning tongue. Light was a luminous torture. Light caused a splendid agony. That is sheer poetry, you see. Her mastering word commanded every limb and left no room for his enormous will. The saint pushed out into some helpless space and could no more re-enter, but left him void. His will also now has left completely. See. His will has gone now because he was governing by that law. You see. His spirit had bowed, the will was still there. He called to night, but she fell shuddering back. She, night, shuddering. He called to hell, But suddenly it retired, hell retired. He turned to the inconscient for support from which he was born. So the birthplace of this thing is from the inconscient. His vast sustaining self. It drew him back towards boundless vacancy, as if by himself to swallow up himself, he called to his strength, but it refused his call. His strength now refused himself. He called to night, he called to hell, he turned to inconscience. Nobody could help him. The mighty mother was standing there. How can night oppose her? How can hell oppose her? Now, there is a difference between night and hell. Hell belongs to the vital part of life, in conscience, where nothing exists. He can't, he is seeking refuge. Can I go there? Can I stay there? Against the power. He called to his strength. His body was eaten by light, his spirit devoured. At last, he knew defeat inevitable and left crumbling the shape that he had worn. He had put on a shape. It is not actually the real person. He had put on that shape. That shape also had disappeared and left crumbling the shape that he had worn, abandoning hope to make man's soul his prey. Gone, completely gone. And forced to be immortal, the immortal spirit. He has abandoned that hope now. Afar, he fled, shunning a dreaded touch, and refuge took in the retreating night. Night is receding back. In the dream twilight of the simple world, the dire universal shadow disappeared, vanishing into the void from which it came. So that shadow, that death has really appeared from the void. That is his birthplace. That dire universal shadow disappeared, vanishing into the void from which it came, as if deprived of its original cause, the purpose for which he is there, that original cause, that has been knocked off. So there is no base, support on which he can stand now. As if deprived of its original cause, the twilight realm passed, feeding from their souls. There stands for Satyavan and Savitri. And Satyavan and Savitri were alone, but neither stirred. Between those figures rose a mute and invisible and translucent wall. So he has gone away. That does not mean that Satyavan and Savitri have joined together. The spirit of Satyavan is there, behind is Savitri, in between was standing death. He has gone away. It does not mean that they have joined together. There is a translucent wall between them still existing.
What is that wall?
That is what he is going to describe. Translucent wall and invisible. So I can't describe it as invisible. A mute, invisible, translucent wall. In the long, blank moment's pause, nothing could move. All waited on the unknown, inscrutable will. So, the invisible, translucent wall could be this unknowable, inscrutable will.
No, because
No, they wait. It is separating them.
they are waiting to that.
They are waiting now.
Yeah, but it's not this, the wall and separate.
So now it will come next time.
Yeah,
In the next.
they are waiting for the will.
So,
No, the world makes them separated. So it cannot be the unscrutable.
see, he has gone away. As far as he is concerned, he is no more there. He has gone. He has disappeared into the void from which he came, vanishing into the void from which it came. As far as death is concerned, he is no more there. Now, what happened to Satyavana and Savitri is not anymore this death's concern. To hell with you now, do whatever you like. So they have to wait for what the divine invisible will is, etc., etc. That will come in the next book. Now, so the question is, has Savitri really won the soul of Satyavan back? Death has gone, has disappeared, or whatever you want to call it. Has Savitri won? Not yet. It is not. See, one thing is important. Savitri is not going to get the soul of Satyavan back from death. Because it will be the gift of death. Savitri does not want the gift of death to bring back to earth. What Savitri wants is the gift of God. So if Satyavan's soul has to come back, it should be the gift of God, not of death. Death has gone away now. So she has to receive really the gift of God, not of death. Therefore the translucent wall is there necessarily. Otherwise it will be meaningless. If you are going to get the gift from death, then what are you really getting? You want the gift from God Himself, from the Divine Himself. The boon, Ashish, or whatever you call it, has to come directly from the Supreme Himself, not from any other person.